Hey man, you alright? So I actually just got around to watching your video, although you put it 2 days ago. I actually ended up, I did your little survey, and then I was getting ready to watch it, and then I was like looking forward to it, and then I just like forgot again, and then I just watched it now. Well, I've had quite a lot to do, and then I'll do one thing, and then I'll do another, and then my mind will keep straying on other things, and there's too many things to remember at the moment, so I'm not keeping up with many channels at the moment, just because there's so many to remember. I even missed Howard Crowhurst. I mean, he had like a live thing planned that Valentine's Day, and I commented on it, and then I'm like, oh wow, this is going to be good, and then I forgot, and then I missed it, so I didn't actually watch it when it was live, and I'd even like commented on there on the chat to say that I was looking forward to it. So I'll show you what I've got then. I just watched your video now, and I'm going to tell you what I've got, what I got from it, and what feedback I'm going to give you, any input if it might help. This is what I get from it, from what you've said, okay? So what I get is, so you're like, country like. So you're looking for this country like, okay? So you're looking for this country like. So why would you have a word that was something like country like, right? But also you did mention that something about possibly even defending Wales after the Romans had gone, or going towards when the Romans, or getting towards the Romans going, or something around that. And also it's something that is applied to someone's name, right? Well, so this is what I've come up with, right? So first, where does country or county come from? County and country are clearly, obviously, a variation. You've got county and then country. County and country, right? So the thing is that the difference between country and county is that you've got the try at the end. Country. 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 And the county has only got county. But country, it's really more like a count, like in a county, count, county, but it's count, county, try, count, try, right? Now, so what I get with this is, so for Scottish Gaelic and Irish Gaelic, we've got cunt, which is quite rude, cunt. But cunt is, we use that word now if you want to insult someone, call them a cunt, but it's also female genitals, or the woman's genitals. It's actually funny that you showed us that picture halfway through, like you put that picture up saying, what's that? And it was like a doorway or an entrance, right? I was thinking of like Sheen and a Gig, or, like, what do you call it? Hey Pegler's Tuft or whatever, and the Sheen and the Gig, like cunt like entrance. But anyway, forget that. Cunt is count, to count. Cunt is count. So if we've got a county, if that's not anything to do with counting, then it is. It is to do with county. And counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So what we're doing is, it's almost like, tallying up, counting, right? Now, the main thing that I have learned recently is about the hundreds courts. The hundreds, right? So I've had to learn all about the hundreds courts when I'm learning about the rights and the origins of the courts, because I wanted to find out, what all the courts were called when I'm looking for the court records. So I've had to learn all about that, right? So we've got the hundreds. Now, we think that after the conquest of William the Conqueror, we think that the hundreds were already a thing in existence to do with the local jurisdictions, so they just adopted those, right? So we've got the hundreds. Now, the thing with the hundreds, why are they called the hundreds? Because you count up to 100. The hundreds, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Count to 100. So, and the hundreds were areas, a region, right? Well, a county is a region. So we've got as counties are regions, right? And so we're counting numbers, and that's the 100. The 100 is counting to 100, but it's the name of an area or a region, right? We also like counting acres. Why is it doing that? We always count in acres, right? Like 1 acre, 2 acre, 3 acre, 4 acre, or 5 acres, right? Now, so we definitely know for certain that cunt is counting, right? And it's the country, and the country is all of the counties, right? So if 100 is a certain area, if 100 is a division of the country, so a county is a division of a country, right? And then your hundreds are even further divisions, right, into more and more and more. So this is definitely to do with areas of land, and calculating areas of mass. Now, the thing with Wales is that Wales is an area of land. In fact, it's a country, right? Wales is a country. Now, the whole entire country, why the try on the end? Why couldn't try? Why can't try? Well, when you are counting, you actually, when you are adding up, you are trying, aren't you? You're trying to get a number. If you're trying to add up things, if you're doing maths, right, you are trying to get a number or work something out, right? So when you talk about protecting Wales from defenders, someone is having a try. Someone is trying to get the land, right? Having a try at gaining more land, right? So the advancement of areas of land, the taking of areas of land is very, very important to Wales, because Wales actually didn't allow land to be taken up, did it? It held its land, and it held its country, and all its hundreds, right? Now, you said that it was something to do with the defenders of the country, possibly of Wales, after the Roman invasion or whatever, right? So definitely holding land or keeping land of Wales, when other people are trying to take it away, is definitely, there's something in that. But why would they give that title to certain people? Maybe they were responsible with defending or holding the land, possibly, right? But I can't but help there being some kind of connection to a trial. You know, like when you have a trial, the trial usually, though, is either by what's the word now? They have like they used to try people by water or ordeal, like an ordeal, right? They used to try people by ordeal. You could try someone by an ordeal, right? Now, the thing about the ordeal is it's like the word order, put in order, an ordeal, but it's something that you go through, right? You can also be ordained, put in order, right? If you put that title on someone or give them a title, it could put them in an order, right? Could put them in order, but you said that necessarily what is the order? Well, But there's also putting the land into order, like ordering land. So this is one area, and then this is another 100, and that's another 100, and that's another 100. Almost like putting the land into ordering the hundreds, or arranging the hundreds, or even arranging, the borders of Wales. So, I wonder, they could have been keepers of boundaries. Could have been something to do with people who set boundaries, made boundaries, or measured boundaries, right? Or, very much could be keepers of country. But if that word is meant to mean country, like, or another word for a hundred or a county or a country is a region. The interesting thing about the word region, R-E-G-I-O, region, it's almost like rain, to rain. Similar. Trial. So I don't know. I'm kind of like, so where am I going with this? I wonder if it could be, like, why would a person be like a country, or how could you compare a person to a country, the land, when a human's a human and the land's a land? How could you be like the land? You could be from the land or of the land, you could look, you could be of a country, maybe they give the title because they're from that country, of that country, and if you had Romans or any other people who came over the Roman army, who definitely, I think people would know who was native, so to say, of the country or from the country. Maybe that would be country like they're natives. It could be people who are natives, And if that's the case, there could be many people who are of the country or from the country. There could be hundreds of people who are from the country or of the country. And after we've been invaded and taken over, it could be significant that there is still quite a lot of, native people left or here. So even if the Romans have tried to wipe everyone out, including as leaders, it could be prominent people who were recognised from being of England or of Wales or of the country, they're of the homeland or of the island, and not of the people who came here, the Romans or whatever. And if there are quite a lot of them still left, or maybe that's, the thing with the hundreds is that they're connected to justice and judgment. But the courts made all manner of decisions over, not just disputes between people, civil disputes or criminal. They made like judgments and decisions over a lot of things, like the land and the areas, that the lands and the like setting the lands on the boundaries and the areas. Maybe those people could have been, people who marked out and set boundaries or kept boundaries, and maybe they were of the country. It could have been someone who was of the country who was trying to keep it. It would make sense that if you're of the country, I wonder if we've got a lot of issues now, with the whole racist issue and all that, and Scotland have just put more, apparently more stronger taken away freedom of speech. Maybe they had those issues back then, maybe they had people, boundary keepers, country keepers, and the people who were country keepers were people of the country, you know. Particularly when you're getting into like the Vikings coming over as well, and you know, you got Anglo-Saxon thing and all that. So if you say of the country or country like, could possibly be country keeper, you know, of the country or keeping the country. But, you know, apparently we're not allowed to have that over here. We're not allowed to do that. So that's what I've got. But I definitely think there's something to do with the hundreds. Definitely, you know, it really would be interesting. Wouldn't it be interesting if that slang word cunt has been around for a long, long time, you know? That would be quite interesting. Wonder where they even get the count. Oh, actually, we could look at that count. Hold on a minute. I'm going to look. No, not that count. Not that count. A different count. Aha! So the origin is Old French. Compuler, calculate. Old French, count, compare. Or compute. So it is to compute or figure something out. Country like, so it's calculating the country, working out the country and calculating the country, or something else, or maybe even calculating people or working out people, you know. They could have been mathematicians. It might have been like some kind of professorship title if they give it to them, like, you know, professor. Could have been, that word could have mean like, you know, if they what about those people who made Stonehenge that Howard's been talking about, you know, did all the calculations for Stonehenge and you know, and worked it all out, you know. You had those like priest classes or the Druid different classes, the poets, the poets, and then you got like the naturalists and then the Druids, the judges. But, you know, what about the people who did all the calculations, you know? Starting to think, if you're calculating all the milestones and all the stones for the stargazing and the astronomy and the geography, like all the Druids through, that's working out measurements, isn't it? Hundreds in distance and hundreds in width and length and breadth of areas of land and alignments. Is that really where count comes from? The word comes from French compte, which in turn comes from the Latin comictus. Oh. How is this working things out? It says to calculate. The word count comes from French compte, which in turn comes from the Latin comictus, companion, but in brackets, of the emperor. Companion of the emperor. You did say that one of those characters was Roman, one of them. In feudalism, the territory ruled by a count was a country. In feudalism, the territory ruled by a count was a country. A woman having this title or the wife of a count was called a countess, right? So I think that that's definitely something, you know, your hundreds, your areas, your hundreds courts, the county. So a territory, an area like 100, ruled by a count. So that's why he's called Count Dracula, because he's ruling a certain area, like Transylvania or whatever. So if he's county-like or country-like, it's a person who rules over a territory. But this is in feudalism, though. But obviously there is some feudalism if you're going to protect Wales or whatever. I think that it comes from the Latin companion. But then we just read before, definitely, that it said that word to do with calculating, counting, working things out, right? So working out areas, working out who's going to rule what or where, But we've got this companion here, look. We've actually got companion. So I think that title could have been given if they were a great comrade or companion of the people or something. The funny thing is, those Jew-rats, the justices, were all elected by the people, right? They elected who the justices were going to be, and the sheriffs were elected, and the mayor, when the mayor was elected every year or whatever, and then he chose 3 people, and then people elected out of those 3 who they're going to choose. This is after the conquest, 1066, so I'm guessing if you go back, it's likely that they might have voted. It might have been a person who they voted in to be in charge of an area, that 100. Obviously, like, if you have a friend and you like them, from country like, or also you love your homeland, don't you? People who really like Welsh people love Wales. It's their companion, Wales is your companion. Your country is your companion. Maybe it was a lover of the country, a lover of the area of Wales, a person who loved their country and was a great companion, possibly even of certain area. That definitely, I think there's enough definitely there in and around that, and working out. Do you know something? Don't you, when you vote, you count, don't you? You count votes. So when you're voting for your Jew-rats and your jurors, or you're voting for who's the leader, they did vote for the lead. In the Celtic tribes, they did vote for the council who was on the council, the chief. They voted them in, and then they made the laws up, but they didn't vote for the Druids, because the Druids went to Druid school and then did their own thing and then went round. They sent them, but they did vote for the rulers. So what you're doing is you're adding up votes, you're counting them. So, like, how many votes does he get? Like 100. So, but how do you do that? By count the votes. Who's the count? Who's in charge? Right? I think you've got to be satisfied with that. If you ain't satisfied with that to throw in there, then I mean, it's hard to please anyone. I think we're pretty much bang on with that. I think we're bang on with that. Adding the votes up, counting the votes by who's going to be like the Jew-rats or the justices in charge, or the kings, remember, because we had they got rid of the Druids, didn't they, because the Romans killed them all off. They didn't want them to be in charge or the religion. So what happens when they've killed all the Druids off and banned the Druids, and they had to go into hiding or over to Ireland? What happened? Did the Druids come back? Did the order get restored? Or, we've got Christianity coming over and there's a bit of merging. What is the religion at that point? You got those you remember you've got your early Christian saints coming over. So but you've still got the legal. The religion is not the legal system. They've got a justice system. Is not necessarily although the priests were involved in it. The priests were involved. Well, the Druids are the Druids are the order, both religious and judicial. Let's get that straight. Both, right? What happens when the Christian missionaries come over and your saints? Can we say they're scientists? Can we say they do calculations of maths like Stonehenge? Can we say that they work out hundreds in areas? Can we say that they're judges? No, not really. They just come with the Bible and preaching Jesus Christ, of a religion, sharing. They've got this book with the whole list of sins, and they're doing that thing. That's not calculating Stonehenge, though, is it? unless they're following the stars and baby Jesus, you know. But we don't get any of that. We don't account them for, you know, following the stars unless we take that part for granted. It's just, oh no, the 7 deadly sins and, you know, parting the water and the rest of it. Just, you know, no, just we're just here with the faith, you know, forgiveness and so forth. No feudalism, you know. They're definitely, no one's ever, I don't think that Jesus was necessarily a justice of the peace, you know. He suffered though, didn't he? Because they banged him up through judicial process onto the cross. But religion's religion. I think this companion, but also I think that it might have something. There might have been people who were voted in. How would you, you know, if you remember someone who's been voted in by, what is a vote? It's a count, you know, because, you know, you add it up, tally, don't you? And it was meant to be the people who were liked by the people who were the favourite, because if you get the most votes, you're the most loved person or the most liked person, you know. An area. Love, if you're loved, surely if you're loved by your people, then, you know, you also love your country and the people, surely. Particularly if you've been voted in fairly, not like come over and conquered the place, and then, you know, not even from the country, you know, and then, like, you know, telling everyone all the stuff's worth half as much about, like, William the Conqueror. You know, how are you supposed to love someone like that when you're actually fighting against them to try and stop them invading? Unless you send someone over a load of smack, a load of heroin. You get this opium down here, you know, we'll end the feudalism. Forgiveness, as long as you're high. That's a joke. So yeah, this is where I am with it. I think we're on it with this. I think counting, tallying, someone possibly either... If you've been voted in and elected by counts and votes, then, you know, you might be the one who gets to calculate and say what the boundaries are and where the hundreds are and the lands, you know. I think there's something definitely in that. I think we're roundabout on it with that. I think we're somewhere around on it with that. Possibly, I wonder if there was a resurgence. But, like, now that I've said this, maybe you can, you know, dig into your Welsh dictionary and see if you can make something out of that, what I've just said, and see if you can, like, confirm or whatever.